right, let's do this. Good morning, Lagos. You are welcome to Spotlight on Yabatech Radio 89.3 FM. My name is Comfort Uwakhonye. I think it's a cold Wednesday morning here in the city of Lagos. It feels like it's going to rain. It was drizzling earlier when I was, coming down here, and but hey, we still have to move on and get the job done, right? So if you're still on your bed, you better stand up. If you're feeling sleepy and cold and you're at the office, just remember that query is somewhere lying around. You're not supposed to sleep at the office, but then you're welcome to the show today. And like every Wednesday, we're here to make sure that you have a great time. And while you're having a great time as well, you're learning a thing or two from our interview, from our discussions. Today on the show, we're going to be having an interview with a guest. We'll get to meet her. But we are talking today about storytelling in the Nigerian climb. That is what we're talking about on the show today. Storytelling in the Nigerian climb. How do you tell stories in such a way that people can relate with it, in such a way that Nigerians can relate with what you are saying? How do you sell to them using stories? Sometimes we'll read some things on social media and we're like, I know where this person is going, this person wants to sell, this person wants to sell. But how do you write or craft a story in such a way that at the end of the day, I can't tell from the beginning that you're trying to sell something to me? How do you write such scripts? How do you write such stories in such a way that people can relate and they are longing for more and they can't tell from the beginning that you're trying to sell something to them? So this and more we're going to find out on the show today on Spotlight. So my guest, I'll just let me quickly read out her profile and then we get to meet her. My guest today is currently a writer and story editor for the TV series Tinsel, produced by MNET Africa. She is also a writer and story editor for the Storyteller Pod, a South African-based production company, and is on the writing team for Empress Sisi, an animation series for the Italian company TV Mundo. She's also on the writing team of Mama K, Team 4, an African animation series produced by Netflix. She received a BTech in architecture from River State University and an MSc in architecture from Ahmadu Bello University, and worked full-time as an architect, then worked briefly with renowned Nigerian music producer Kobams Asuko before she started writing for film in 2008. Since that time, she has written for a number of TV series: Forbidden, Ajoche, Battleground, Footprints, Dear Mother, Spider, and award-winning series Shuga and Tinsel, and is currently working on other TV shows. She has written a number of radio dramas and stage plays, one of which was performed by the National Theatre. She has a certificate in filmmaking from the New York Film Academy and is an aspiring director hoping to direct some of our own films and or TV shows in the near future. Creating content for children's TV is a lifelong dream of hers, and she has a special interest in developing animation series for the Nigerian audience. She currently resides in Lagos with her daughter. Her hobbies are reading, films, travels, documentaries, and computers. My guest on the Spotlight today is Omotunde Akiode. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. So listeners at home, remember today we're talking storytelling in the Nigerian climb. That's what we're talking about today. So our spelling bee segment will be at 11:30. So feel free to call in if you have questions with our guest. If you have questions about what we're talking about today, you want to make a comment about story writing here in Nigeria, so feel free to call. At 11:30 we'll have our spelling bee segment, and that's a segment where we open the phone lines for you to call in and spell some words. Your ability to spell words correctly, you get to win airtime on the show. The numbers to call if you have questions, comment right now. You want to reach out to my guest, or her, she's worked for you. Feel free to call. The numbers to call are 07018001783, 09131384110. These are the numbers to call. So feel free to be part of the show at any point in time. So you're welcome to the show once again. So have you always wanted to be a writer, or it's just a matter of I am good at this job, so let me cash out from it?
I've actually always wanted to be a writer.
Okay.
It's just that I think when I was younger, I didn't even know it was a job. that people actually do.
Okay.
I know when I was young, the very first career I wanted to be. Don't laugh.
Go ahead. Feel free.
Do you remember? Okay, you may not, there was this show, Circus Center Ring, this show on NTA back then, and I wanted to be a clown because I wanted to make people laugh.
Okay.
So I just and I've just been always into showbiz, like all those Muppet Show, Frag Rock, all those things. Like I'm always interested in the behind the scenes or how they came up with the lines and reading storybooks. My mom used to buy a lot of storybooks and read the stories, and then at the point we started writing our own stories and writing our own comic books and save money to buy comics and literature. I was always reading all the literature books. Even when I went to science class, I was like, I can't do literature again. Okay, so I'll collect my friends' literature books, read the story, then gist them the story, and that's how they'll pass.
Wow.
Or I'll watch a film and then go back to school. It was boarding school, and then I'll gist them the whole film out, and as in dialogue for dialogue, I'll be like, okay, and then this person said, and then this person said, and it will be like the whole So I've always been obsessed that way, and I wanted to, like, in my mind, I feel like if I had a choice, I'd want to do something. I didn't even know it had a name. I just called it showbiz, but I didn't even know it was an option. So I went for architecture because I felt like do a professional course.
At that point, was architecture supposed to be like your plan B, just in case this clown thing you wanted to do, or the writing or story thing, or whatever you called it at that time?
I didn't even know it was an option. So for me, I just zeroed that it's maybe just something you do as a hobby. So as per real job, because I like drawing as well, and I liked technical drawing. So architecture was okay. At least I can.
So how was that? And you even went further to do a master's.
I worked in an architectural firm for almost a year.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I actually like it. Like, I like the design, I really, really love architecture, and so it was just, unfortunately, I don't know, whatever, maybe I just wasn't getting another job in that area, and at the same time, I started feeling like, okay, let me start trying out for this writing thing. Let me start learning about writing and.
Okay, so aside your mom having to buy you guys storybooks at a very tender age, was there any other moment in your life you realized that, okay, I should be doing writing? Writing is what I want to do. And that's because, I ask that question because sometimes you hear some people, they say that they started writing at a point in their life when they were feeling down, depressed, they were sad, and they started writing. Writing was like an escape for them. So for you, was it just something you grew and loved because of the storybooks your mom bought for you at a very tender age?
It was just something I always loved. It wasn't just the books, it was the films. Like, okay, when I was in school, there was always dramatic club. I was in dramatic club, but I was never on stage. I was always among the people behind the scenes, planning what the actors would say, and they're just plotting everything. Once upon I even did choreography, like for them. Not that I dance. Okay, I think I actually danced eventually because I had to be part of them, but. Planning the whole moves, I was always like the people that always the ideas behind it. That was always, and for me it was always natural for me. I didn't have to think too hard about it, or for me it was just something I always so after this, and then he does this, after this he does, what about this so that's always been my thing. And looking back now, I just realized that in every area that's of my life, primary, secondary, even NYSC at some point, that was just always my life. Always interested in the drama units and what are they doing. And then after school, I was in the drama unit of Covenant Christian Center for a very long time, and that's where we did play that, because then we were trying to do things professionally, like write the scripts and have rehearsals, and then so that really, really helped me.
So who did you grow up reading? Who were the authors or writers you grew up reading their piece?
Apart from Edith Blyton, my mom just gave me all her old novels in JS1. So those are James Hadley-Chase, Barbara Cartland. Those are the two main ones. And then, of course, every M&B book I could read. That was like the candy. Like that was, Then I found Daniel Steele, Sidney Sheldon's, Jeffrey Archer's. The bigger, the better. The faster the novel.
I see romance everywhere. Anyways, that's not good.
No, Jeffrey Archer, Sidney Sheldon, Jackie Collins.
No comment. No comment. Okay.
Like I read everything as well. And then my dad had complete works of Shakespeare in Old English, and yes, I read it.
How did that feel? Tell me about it.
Oh, I loved it.
I did literature too, and while I was in school, I was always angry with the ye, thou, at.
I loved it. My
I was
favorite,
angry with
my
it.
Bible is still KJV. Please, I don't like all this modern English. Please,
Please
thee
give me
and
simple
thou.
English that I understand. What
It's
is I? What is
poetic.
thou? What
It's
is
beautiful.
A?
Like,
What is thou had done this?
yes.
Please give me simple English, please.
No, but for me, I saw it as poetry, and I didn't have any problems with these and thous. I knew exactly what they meant. So it was just like reading it in a slightly different, or reading something in pidgin. Like once you understand the rules of the language. So for me, it was never an issue. And of course, it always sounds cool when you say it.
Okay, so would you say you're happy and you're satisfied with how far you've come with writing, or you've not even touched the base yet?
I'm grateful for how far I've come, because I know that I've been very blessed and very privileged to
your profile is rich. Man, come on.
To come across, like, and I'm just very, very grateful to God and the people and encouragement. And of course, but at the same time, I know that there is still a whole lot more, because I know growing up, I used to watch. I still tell myself I'm going to write for Disney someday.
Yeah.
Like, you're watching one of the Disney clients, you're like, I want you to write a story like that. Oh,
It will happen.
Amen. So that's why I said, like, I'm happy how far I've come, but of course I know that there's still a whole.
So for now, architecture is on hold. It's writing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
they didn't give me architecture job. It's not my fault. I apply for job. They didn't give me work.
If you get one now, will you take it?
Yeah.
Not exactly. Okay, so sometimes you hear people say they rate themselves 10 over 10, even though they have to say that themselves when it comes to writing. But how does one know if they are good writers or storytellers?
The best I can give you is feedback. Because honest feedback, not your friends hyping you, because that's another problem. Because sometimes you write something, you give it to your friends, and because they are trying to encourage, so they'll be like, oh, fantastic, real good, but give it to a bunch of strangers. Let them just read it and see what their instinctive reaction is. For example, the stage play I wrote that was at National Theatre. So I sat in the audience when it was shown for the first time, and I was watching the audience reacting to, the action on stage. Yeah. So whenever they'll burst out laughing, like there was one time when one guy actually rolled out to the aisle, laughing like, oh my God. I was like, okay, I guess
that was good.
So when you get the reaction from people, like honest, instinctive, like if you can get people to laugh without and they don't know who wrote it, they don't know, they'll be like, okay, I try small, I try,
So it is about the feedback.
Yeah, it's always, even a song, if you write a song and see how many people love it and how many people, as opposed to they're just.
But how do you tell? If you say feedback, sometimes you could write for a certain kind of audience, they like it. You write for another kind of audience, they don't like it. Does that mean that you're not good enough?
No. It just means that you probably weren't able to key into what they wanted, and you are not able to. Like sometimes I might write some things that don't really fly, or it just goes over people's heads. They don't really get it. That's because I was just simply not able to connect with them. It doesn't mean you're a bad writer. It just means that you just didn't get it right that particular time. So it's to go back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, what did I get wrong? Why wasn't I able to connect? What was I missing?
But do you think writing can be learned, or writers are born?
Both.
Okay.
There are some people that just know how to gist, that their gist is sweet.
Yeah.
Like they don't, like when you're sitting down and listening to them, like, man, the way they just flow, and from the village, even your grandmother in the village, there's a way they tell a particular story. They say, I like this particular grandma, the way she says her own story, the flair that she puts. So that comes with people's personalities, and it's some of it. Some people are born naturally with it. Some people learn it. Because sometimes just observing people and finding out what makes them tick, it can really help. But writing is learned. There's a craft of it. There's a craft side to it, and then there's a talent side to it. So, and of course, the talent is just, you still need to do a lot of work learning the tools of the trade and everything. Otherwise, your talent will only get you so far.
Okay. Okay. To our listeners at home, remember you can be part of the show. If you have questions, you want to make comments, or you know my guest and you want to shout out to her on the show, feel free to call the phone lines 07018001783, 09131384110. I'll take the numbers again: 07018001783, 09131384110. These are the numbers to call to be part of the show. So feel free to call in if you have questions or comments. Now, you've written quite a number of TV shows, especially here in Nigeria. The popular Tinsel, Shuga, and the likes, and we all loved it. At least I followed those series and I, enjoyed them. So, what sort of writing, or what sort of writing do you think the Nigerian audience like? So, why do you think Tinsel, Shuga, why do you think those writings stood out?
Because they told Nigerians are able to see themselves on TV talking about their issues, things that they could relate with. Yes, foreign shows, there always be the Game of Thrones people and they always work the same. But sometimes you want to be able to watch how somebody went through something similar to what you went through, or someone that went through, and you'd be like, this is so true. Yeah, this is me. And then maybe the way they resolve it in the show is probably different or the same with how you did it. So either you agree, be like, yeah, well, it's true, I could have actually gone in that direction, you know. So, but either way, it gets people thinking and relating with the story on a personal level.
Okay, so does this affect the character when you're coming up with the characters?
Oh yes, definitely. That's we always have to think about that. I mean, you're writing in a story that's situated in Nigeria, so you want your characters to be as realistic as possible, true to life as possible.
Okay, so let's say you have a script to write and submit for a TV show. Can you, walk us through your writing process?
Well, different shows have different rules for how they go about their thing, but generally speaking, you start off with an idea or a particular idea for maybe episodes or a particular period or seasons or arc of the show, and you pitch it. There's usually a head writer. There's always a writing team for it. If it's a TV series, there's usually a writing team. If it's a film, then it's just one writer, and then you are the one, you decide how the story is going. But if it's a show, it's a collaborative effort. There's a lot of, it's not just you and it's not just your story. It's a bunch of writers sitting down together. There's a head writer that's in charge coordinating everyone. So everybody tosses in their ideas, then they discuss, they look at the ones that are working. Like there's a friend of mine, I call him like my mentor, Anthony Kenny Joseph. So he was the first person that told me that there's no bad idea. It's just, or there's no bad story per se. It's just how the story is crafted, and how you can be manipulated, and especially on a daily soap where you're running into 3,000 episodes. So you know that there will probably be some storylines that you might have rehashed two or three times over time. But what you want to do is you want to find a new spin on the story, because there's always a new spin, because we're human beings and we're different. Two of us will pass through the same experience, but how you handle it from how I handle it. So because of that, it's possible to keep going and coming up with new ways and new ideas. So the writers, you sit down together, you discuss on, okay, let's go in this direction, let's go in that direction. No, this won't work. Okay, this will. Then after a bit of back and forth, then we finally decide on, okay, this is it. Yeah.
Okay, so is there a career in script writing? Now, first of all, tell us what's the difference between script writing and screenwriting.
Okay, script writing is anything that requires a script. Radio, there are a lot of radio shows that require scripts. There are a lot of even people that are doing seminars or speeches. There are scripts. Documentaries have scripts. So and it's not everything that is screen. Screen refers to TV, that's the small screen, or film, that's the big screen. So when they say screenwriting, you immediately think of, okay, people that are writing for TV and film. But script writers, that's a bit more general. That can be basically anything that requires.
So a screenwriter can also be a script writer.
Yes.
But it's okay, so it can work both ways. I'm trying to find the difference and the balance there.
Well, a script writer may not necessarily be a screenwriter, because the rules for screenwriting are pretty they are pretty specific to the screen. But a script is just basically anything written down for you to follow, like a guideline for you to follow.
So would you say, based on your experience so far and the number of years you've been in this industry, is it possible that someone can actually build a career in screen or script writing? That's the only thing that you do and you grow along the way?
Yes, otherwise I wouldn't exist.
Wow. And I'm not here to doubt your existence.
And I'm like, but that is me. That's the life I'm feeling. That's literally all. In fact, when you were talking about me wanting to direct something, I was just smiling to myself. I was like, okay.
I'm reminding you again. Okay. So sometimes movie producers have an idea of the kind of story they want.
Yeah.
So how does the writer get into the mind of the producer to be able to write the script exactly the way the producer has thought about it?
It first of all starts with the producer and the writer sitting down together to talk the story through. So the producer talks about, just tells the writer everything he wants, like what's in his head, what he's thinking, and so it's almost like he has to express everything he wants. I mean, otherwise the writer will probably go in his own direction. But when the producer says, okay, this is what I'm thinking about, it's in a way similar to architecture. The client goes to the architect and says, okay, I want a house. This is what I want. I want something that shows this. Or I want something simple. I want something, and based on all those things, it's called a brief. So that's where the writer or the architect now comes up with a prototype design and, okay, like is this what you're thinking? Or go to a tailor and say you want an outfit, and maybe you don't have a style in mind, but you want something. Maybe it's for a wedding, or no, it's for a funeral. So you want something. So you just basically give him all your ideas, and then the tailor goes and, if he's a designer actually draws up some designs for you and shows you, okay, do you like this one? Do you like this one?
Exactly.
So that's how it starts. That's the beginning.
Okay, so let's come back to story writing itself. Now you see these days, there's this everybody talks about your ability to write good content or write sellable content or good stories on social media. And these days you find out that there are some stories you read. This is not to say that those stories are not good, they're fine, but from the beginning you can actually tell that this person is trying to sell something to me. I've not gotten to the end of the story, but I know that this person is selling a story. But hold on to that, so let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning, welcome to the show. What's your name? Augustine, where are you calling me from? Augustine from Sierra. You have a question for my guest? Hello, Augustine. Do you have a question for my guest?
Oh, hi. Thank you. Yeah, I hope so too.
Send her a DM. Disturb her.
Usually it's not in my hands.
Okay. Thank you so much, Augustine, for calling.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. Thank you for calling, Augustine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you write a story in such a way that it is good, that I cannot tell the end from the beginning? I cannot tell that you're trying to sell something to me at the end of that article.
That's okay. Now we've gotten to the realm of copywriting. So the first thing you want to do is you want to engage the reader or the audience, and the only way you have to catch them with something that either piques their interest, curiosity, or their emotionally. And so start with that, but as in just forget that you're trying to sell anything. Start, okay, you're trying to emotionally connect with whoever is reading with this, so that's where it starts. And of course, so once you get them hooked in on that, and then they get engaged or curious about the story, like, wow, this thing happened to this person, oh, this is going on, and then they keep going, and at some point they're just all lost in the story. Then a very smart person would know where and how. It's all about timing and knowing exactly the moment to chip in.
Should it be just in one article, or you can break it down that the beginning they're asking for more, like, what happens?
No, sometimes it's not an article. Like some of the most beautiful adverts out there, some of them can be just 30 seconds, and in that 30 seconds they've told you an entire story, they've roped you in, and at the end of the day, you just see the ad there and then you're laughing, and you're like, oh, this silly thing. But at the same time, that is somehow in your head, it has entered into your memory, so the next time you see that thing in the shops or in the market, you'll be like, okay, give me this. So some of it is very subtle, some of it depends on what it is you are selling anyway. And like you said, what you are selling now depends on how you decide to package it. So sometimes it's a story you're telling, sometimes it's a song, sometimes it's just you're just trying to pass a message across. And did they get it? Did they get the message? It's a very it's not it's not something you can discuss in like 2 or 4, but there's a craft to it, and it has to do with psychology, basic human psychology, and emotions. And then there are also rules of storytelling: show, don't tell. But the biggest thing is you need to connect with your audience. Find one way to connect you. Once you can connect with them and get them hooked, you can sell anything to them.
Okay, so aside being able to connect with your audience, what are some of those ingredients that makes up a good writing or a good write-up?
First of all, you need to be clear, because a lot of the stories, like that thing about being clear is something that is underrated. Because I know you've seen some posts, especially all these WhatsApp messages, read more where it's just the person, you are more in love with words than with actually telling the story. So you start with all these, oh my god, like Agatha Christie, I used to read love her, and she spends a lot of time describing the walls were blue with a tinge of purple hue, and as the rising of the sun, just describing the environment, and which has nothing to do with the story. All she's doing is just, but it's a novel, so you can afford it. You've already bought the book. But when you are reading something online, that all you can do is click and move on. You don't want to make that same mistake.
Span is like 6 seconds or 7.
Exactly. So you want to. So there are keywords. There are, in fact, even in copy, there are actually keywords that easily get people's attention. That get. Of course, it's a long study going through other ads and seeing what actually got people engaged on. But get to the point immediately, and get to the point where, because you want the people hooked within the first 1 or 2 lines. So you need to be as straight to the point as possible. No using plenty of grammar. Some people want to show that they know big words. Okay, fine. You know that you have read your dictionary. Congratulations, but no, you're not getting
you're not getting it right.
Yeah, because you just see a lot of people just see a lot of big grammar and saying a lot of big words, and sometimes when the grammar is too much, you actually lose people.
Yeah, true.
You lose people, because yes, it sounds good and everything, but nobody. And the problem with big words like that is they sound. It's always better to hear them than to read them. So if it's a play like Wole Soyinka, his plays are better watched personally than read. But I will sit down with a Chinua Achebe and I will get lost in the story. But Wole Soyinka, sometimes some of the words are a bit big. But when you're watching his shows, you're like, wow, okay, this is fantastic.
Interesting.
So those are the differences. But when you're trying to, on social media, and you're trying to engage your audience, you have to look, what is that thing they're saying? What is that thing that you're trying? Okay, what exactly are you trying to get them to feel? What emotion are you trying to get out of them? And then you go in that direction, and don't waste too much time.
Trying to describe and
just get to the point and just go in.
At the end of the day, simplicity wins.
Yeah, simplicity, like the first rule of storytelling, KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying you're stupid.
I know.
Keep it simple. Just keep it simple, and just get to the point. And funny thing is that people think simple means boring. No,
simple is not boring
at all. There are many creative ways of being simple. And even Shakespeare says brevity is the soul of wit.
Please, now I know how to write in the house. Okay, time check. It's 11:30 already, and it's time for our spelling bee segment. So I'll go for this quick break. When we come back, I'll open the phone lines for the spelling bee segment. Stick around, I'll be back. Oh, no, that was fun.
Wow, time really flies.
The value of an idea lies in the usage.
Nelson Mandela said, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living."
Tune in to Spotlight on Yabatech Radio, 89.3 FM, every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. as we discuss various businesses that started up as just simple ideas. Spotlight is brought to you by Young and Simple.
welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is still Spotlight on Yabatech Radio 89.3 FM, and it's time for our spelling bee. Can you spell words correctly? Especially those words that have double C, double I, double N, and the likes. Can you spell words correctly? Feel free to call into the show. Just spell 3 words correctly, and you get to win airtime on the show. If you can spell 3 words correctly, you win airtime, and if you can spell five words correctly, better. You win a bigger amount of airtime. The numbers to call 07018001783, 09131384110. Those are the numbers to call. So feel free to call into the show to be part of our spelling bee segment. So the phone lines are officially open for spelling bee. If you can spell words correctly, can you spell correctly? Call in and win airtime that will last you for today at least. 07018001783, 09131384110. These are the numbers to call. So feel free to call in and be part of our spelling bee segment. All you have to do is call in, tell me your name, where you're calling me from, and I'll give you some words to spell. No, the words are not difficult, I promise. Today's words are not difficult, I promise. So they are simple words, simple everyday words. Just call in and I'll be here to give you the words. Spell them correctly and you get to win airtime on the show. 07018001783, 09131384110. These are the numbers to call, so feel free to call in to the show, get the words, spell them correctly, and you're good to go. You have your airtime. 07018001783, 09131384110. Can you spell words correctly? How good are you with spelling words? How good are you with words? Do you know these words correctly? Sometimes, we just assume that, oh, why not? I can spell words correctly. I can spell this. Please call in. If you know you always have that feeling like, what is it? Why can't I spell this? Why can't I spell that? Call into the show and let's see if you truly can spell those words. If you truly can spell my words correctly. 07018001783, 09131384110. So call in, let's have fun together here on the show. Let's spell some words, simple words, easy words. Spell them correctly and you win airtime. If you're able to spell 3 words correctly, you win airtime. If you're able to spell the 5 words correctly, you'd also get to win airtime, a bigger amount of airtime as well on the show. The numbers to call again: 07018001783, 09131384110. These are the numbers to call. So feel free to call in, spell words correctly, and you would win airtime. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, please call me back 07018001783, 09131384110. Those are the numbers to call. When you do call in, just tell me your name, your location, and I'll be here to give you those words. Your ability to spell them correctly qualifies you to win airtime, or rather you get to win airtime. So spell 3 words correctly, you win airtime. Spell 5 words correctly, you get to win airtime as well. 07018001783, 09131384110. Those are the numbers to call, so feel free to call in and win airtime on the show. On some days you have everybody wanting to call. On some days they're absent. Maybe it's the rain. Maybe. It's still the spelling bee segment here on Spotlight. On Spotlight. Have a call. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name?
Kayode.
Kayode, where are you calling me from?
Somewhere around Surulere.
All right, Kayode from Surulere. Are you ready to spell words this morning?
Let me try.
Okay, let's do this, Kayode. Kayode, spell the word supersede. That is correct. Spell the word inoculate. Inoculate. That is wrong, Kayode. It is INOCULATE. It's not double N. Well, thanks for calling. Thanks for calling, Kayode. 07018001783, 31384110. Those are the numbers to call to be part of the spelling bee segment here. All you have to do is call in, tell me your name, your location, and I'll give you some words to spell. You spell 3 correctly, you win airtime. You spell the 5 of them correctly, you win a bigger amount of airtime. The numbers to call again: 07018001783, 09131384110. Can you spell words? Are you very good with spelling words? Feel free to call in and I'll be here to give you the words to spell. 07018001783, 09131384110. So call in to spell some words correctly and you would win airtime here on the show. Hi Okoemo, good morning. Hi Anthony, good morning. Good morning, guys. Let them bring me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us. Oh, we're warrior. And sharp as was girl. Yeah, welcome back. It's still Spotlight here on Yabatech Radio 89.3, and it's a spelling bee segment. So can you spell words correctly? How good are you with spelling words? If you're very good, call in and challenge me. That's all. Just call in and I'll give you some words to spell. If you are able to spell them correct, don't worry, I will respect you henceforth. If you call again on the show, I will call you sir or ma, because you have earned my respect. 07018001783, 09131384110. Those are the numbers to call to be part of the spelling bee segment. How good are you with words? Can you spell words correctly? Feel free to call me and you get to win airtime on the show. Spell 3 words correctly and you get to win airtime. Spell 5 words correctly, you get to win a bigger amount of airtime as well. 07018001783, 09131384110. Call in and I'll be here to give you the words. When you do call in, tell me your name, your location, where you're calling me from, and I'll be here to give you the words. Feel free to call 07018001783. If you need airtime, call me up. If you need airtime to last you for the whole day, call me up. 07018001783, 09131384110. Those are the numbers to call to be part of the spelling bee segment here on Spotlight on Yabatech Radio 89.3. Yeah, welcome back. It's still Spotlight here on Yabatech Radio 89.3, and it's still our spelling based segment. This is what we're going to do. So if you want to call in, and I'll be here to take your call and also give you the words to spell. But we're going to continue with our guest, and we have been talking storytelling in the Nigerian climb. We've been having fun here discussing writing, copies, and all of that. So feel free to be part of the show if you want to. 07018001783, 09131384110. These are the numbers to call. So if you want part of the show, feel free to be part of the show. Now, we're going to talk about the storytelling in Nigeria here. Do you think it can stand alongside with Bollywood, Hollywood, and the likes? Do you think Nollywood and the kind of stories that we tell, the kind of stories that we write, do you think it can stand alongside these other industries in other countries?
I'd say yes, and I'll also say it depends.
Okay, let's hear it.
In terms of concepts, we actually have very good stories in Nigeria. In fact, compared to what I'm seeing in Hollywood now, we have better stories.
Wow.
I'd almost, when it comes like concept wise, like we have unique concepts because and the fact they are telling stories of a different time and place, and I have watched a lot. I watch a lot of Z World as well, and I see they have some really, really, especially their films, unique concepts. I support. So do we, but I think the problem is always in the execution.
Okay.
I watch some films even on Africa Magic Yoruba, and if you notice that, I don't know, but I know a lot of people that are not Yoruba that actually started watching Yoruba films. Why? They were passing by and something happened, and they were like, they're not like, let me even see what will happen. From there they sat down.
From there, they got a cup of coffee.
But the only problem is that it gets your interest or your curiosity, and you now want to see how it plays out. And at some point, you always go, nonsense.
So
I wasted my time.
So it can't sustain you.
Yeah. So it's like they have all the ingredients. It's just to sit down and cook it properly.
So how do you feel as a writer when your script is not interpreted the way you thought it should be? Like recently, there's this lady on Facebook that I followed. She talked about how her script was not interpreted well and she didn't like it. She felt really, really bad about it.
Yeah.
So how do you feel when your script, is not properly interpreted, and what can you do about it?
Well, it's something every writer eventually goes through, because there's one of the things I learned is that the writer is only the first storyteller. As he passes through other channels, the director is also a storyteller, so he's going to interpret it his own way.
Yeah.
The actors they are also different storytellers, so they will interpret it in their own way. Even down to the editor. The editor is the final storyteller, because how he edits it, in fact, sometimes even the director is surprised, like,
What did you do to the story?
So everybody is, putting their own unique input into it, and at the end, and sometimes it comes out at the end, and the writer can barely recognize his work. Sometimes he interpret it the way he was thinking, and he's like, yes, they got me. And then sometimes they even go the extra mile and they do things that the writer didn't think of. Like, oh wow, I didn't think of that. Oh, okay, cool, nice. So it could go in any of those three directions, and a lot of times the writer doesn't have much control over what happens once he lets go.
Script.
Yes, especially in film and TV. Once you've written your part, you've done your bits, you let it go. You need to say goodbye and just
You let it go.
let it go.
Okay, so let's come back to the other angle of this. Do you think this screenwriting or script writing, do you think it's lucrative? Do you think it's something that I can, when I'm done from university or master's or whatever degree I go for, do you think it's something I can sit down and say, oh, this is what I'll be doing now, and it's a fend for my bills, it's take care of everything that I need to do? Do you think writing has grown to that extent here in Nigeria?
Oh yes, definitely. And I'm not the only one. There are a lot of us that's all we do. We write. But at the same time, I'll put a caveat on it and say it's a very tricky, which I think it's also goes the same way for even writing in any country, really. It's a very niche market, so it's tough, and you really need, for you to get steady work, you have to always be at the top of your game, always honing your craft and trying to be good and give people something that they feel is satisfactory, and people keep coming back to you. So you have to be really, really good to get constant work. And when I say good, yes, talent is there, but when I say good in terms of hard work, sometimes you also have to be able to submit on time, meet deadlines. You have to be good, someone that they had a good working experience with you. So it's not just your talent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of young people these days talk about copywriting and how people steal words and likes. And I'll give you an experience of someone close to me. My younger brother used to write poems a lot.
Okay.
He writes all of those things, and then earlier on he just writes them and puts them out on social media, on Facebook, on his page. And all of a sudden, he started seeing his work in some other people's pages, handles, and they will even write their name there. They won't tag him, they won't give him the credit for the work. They will say, oh, they wrote it themselves. And a very similar experience happened to me, very funny. There was this year I wrote something on my birthday. When you wake up now, birthday's morning, you want to write a long thing, you want to write something nice, something different from what you usually post. So I wrote this article on my birthday, and it was just about things, thanking different people in my life and how far I have grown, and and I put it up on my Facebook page. And that was my birthday, 17th of October, and the next day was 18th. Rather, yeah, it's 18th. And a friend who whose birthday was also 18th, she just went on my page, copied everything that I wrote. She even the people I thanked, the church, everything I wrote, she copied everything verbatim and posted on her own page. And I went to the comments, everybody was hailing her, oh, it's a very good writer. And I'm like, how? You know, and I said to her DM, I was like, babe, how far? Why did you copy my post? She was like, you're the writer, and allow us to copy, allow us to shine. And I'm like, oh, really? So how do you deal with this? How do you deal with, you know, yes, I want people to know me for writing, but there's also the angle of not getting credit for my work. So how do I balance it?
It's very tricky, especially in Nigeria. Funny enough, there was a Facebook group that I was in, and they were talking about this same issue about copywriting, and the responses showed that Nigerians really don't even see it as something wrong to be able to just lift somebody's work and even and give someone credit. And it's unfortunately is the country or the culture that we are living in now. And it's for social media is really, really hard. You mean, what are you going to do? You can't prosecute them. Or you can try, but good luck.
How many people will you actually
How many
prosecute?
people will you prosecute? But the only thing I can say to that, because the same thing, people, writers worry a lot about their scripts getting, copied, or sometimes you give a producer a script, he will tell you that he's not interested. Later on, you see your film out. Maybe they would have changed a few names somewhere. So it happens a lot. Not just in Nigeria, anywhere they can get away with it, they get away with it. And unfortunately, in Nigeria, where people are just yeah, it's what it is. So you tend to see more of that. So it's unfortunate. It's something that you have to deal with. But at the same time, this is how I choose to look at it. I see that they are helping me sell my market, because when you steal somebody's work, you can't sustain it. Me, I'm the source. Like there's my South African friend Natasha. She says she's never afraid of anyone stealing her work, because you steal my ideas. Oh, please, there was 1,000 more where that came from.
Wow.
So go ahead, steal it, because what's going to happen is that they will like that idea, they will want more from you, and you won't be able to deliver. So sooner or later, and I don't know, is the law of the universe. Just keep putting out. I mean, I've there's a lot of work that I've done for people that never saw the money or never saw. Sooner or later, they end up spreading your name, because this person was able to give us goods, whether or not they pay, they'll almost without realizing it end up putting your name out there, or your work somehow goes out there. And then sometimes, because of what somebody posted and put his name, somehow they'll something similar. I mean, if you put something similar tomorrow, and it's I just feel like maybe it's God or something has a way of rewarding you, so that if you just keep putting out yourself, sooner or later, it's like if you see Jude Idaba's writing, you will know this is so. Who can copy Jude's work right now?
Well,
they will try, but if you've read enough of his works and you read a Chinedu somewhere that puts, you'll be like, you'll be like, come, if this thing resembles Jude work. so that's in a way, so that other person, other people that they were trying to mooch off him, but all they did was just end up spreading his name the more. And I'm sure someone like Jude has had people steal his works a million and over.
He keeps writing.
He just stays on his grind, keeps doing his thing, and sooner or later they will get your signature. People will get to know you through work. A Picasso is a Picasso. So people can imitate Picasso all they want, but at the worst they'll be like, your work is almost as good as Picasso. Your work looks Picasso. So imagine somebody trying to copy my writing, and then they are praised because your writing is good. It reminds me of Omotunde's writing.
Exactly. It is your writing.
But they just helped me sell my market. That's all they did. So that's the only way I know of right now, until we can get legislation put in place, until people learn to you can't keep stealing people's work.
Is there a body for writers?
Oh yes, definitely. There's a Writers Guild in Nigeria, and I know that there are probably a few other writing associations out there. But
how do you become part of the association?
I'm not sure right now, but you might probably look them, or there might probably be a website somewhere, or they'll have a social media handle and things like that.
Okay, so these days it's easy because there's social media. A lot of us can write. We can, sometimes. I think I started. I'm a lazy writer. I call myself a lazy writer, and that's because I only want to write when something has happened to me and I want to narrate it. I want to come and vent and rant. You get? So, but then, how do you, before social media came in, how were you guys doing these things? How were you able to tell people that you actually can write? How do people know you? So let's leave social media aside now. If there's maybe a young man or a young lady listening to me from Unilag or Yabatech or Lasso, and they are good with writing, but they're scared to put their things, their works out. So how else do you think people can actually get people to know about what they do?
Okay, so that's the biggest problem of most writers: laziness and procrastination. I mean, I know that I can build. Ironically, I can, when it comes to my own personal work, I have work that ideas that
Okay,
I've.
hold on to that. So let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the show. What's your name? Your name is what?
Silas.
Silas. Okay, Silas, where are you calling me from? Silas Mapa, you have a question for my guest? Or you want to shout out to her?
Oh.
No, spelling bee is over. So spelling bee ended at 11:45. Thank you so much for calling. All right, yeah, bye. Okay, all right.
The problem with writers, we procrastinate a lot, and we can be very lazy when it comes to, a lot of creatives are like that unless we are pushed. I think what helps me most is deadlines. Like if I'm given a deadline and you have to meet that deadline.
But what about a young person that he or she has not gotten jobs yet? You are just writing and you're writing your manuscript and keeping it and keeping it and keeping it and keeping it.
You just have to get to the point where it depends on how badly you want it, and you have to have a goal, a measurable goal. Like you know that, okay, for example, are you just writing for writing's sake, or do you have a target in mind? Like I know there was a time when there was this show that was on TV that Kitensho, Bimbo Akintola, Circle of Three, that I really, really liked it then, and I was still hustling those days. So what I did was I wrote a spec script for the show and just sent it to them. I think I got the feedback from Bimbo then that they really liked it, but of course I don't think they were the people in charge of, and the show didn't even really continue after a while. But because I wanted to be on that show, so what I did was I wrote a spec script for that show and sent it to them and said, okay, this is what I want. And then another thing you can do is you can go for courses, because courses have, at least you have to submit this thing by the end of 2
they
weeks.
also have deadlines.
They have deadlines. So that helps to keep you disciplined. Okay. You just have to find ways of being disciplined.
So if you were to tell that young man or that young lady 2 things, what would they be?
Keep learning and keep working.
Keep learning and keep working. Thank you so much. It's the time goes when you're having fun, right? Time check. It's 11:54 hours. So they also chased me from the studio. Okay, but then it was a good 1 hour talking to you. I had fun and learned a couple of things from the interview. So thank you so much, Omotunde Akiode, for coming on the show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Well done. So to our listeners at home, thank you so much for tuning in to the show today, and to Kayode, who called during the quiz segment, and to Silas as well. Silas, our quiz segment is from 11:30 to 11:45 a.m. Okay, so you can try again next week Wednesday. So to every other person that called, to Augustine who called in and wants to work with our guests, I hope he will send you a DM soon. Anyways, thank you so much, guys, and do have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was good. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so that's all.
Yeah, that's all.
Did I give you a phone?
No, hold on. I was just going to change it.
Sometimes you love too hard. Sometimes you go too far.
So, yes, let me have the phone. Let's take pictures in the studio. Alright, guys, thank you so much.